Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your January 2023 Tarotscope. If you're curious about the decks that I'm using today, you can find a list of them in the description box below. You can also find links to my social media accounts, as well as links to information on personal readings and the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram. There will also be a timestamp in the description if you would like to jump to the start of the reading. We're going to be going over a lot of information for this month, Capricorn. So please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading. Please only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. For those of you who are celebrating January birthdays, happy birthday, Capricorn. I pray that your birthday is absolutely amazing. Nothing shy of fantastic. Let's jump in and see what you've got going on for you this month. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us what Capricorn's theme is for January 2023. What is Capricorn's theme for Thank you. What does Capricorn need to know to start the year off in alignment, please? Thank you. What opportunities does Capricorn have for expansion this month, please? What opportunities does Capricorn have for expansion this month? Ooh, that's too many. Let's get more. Nice clear message, please. Thank you. There it is. Tell us, please, what does Capricorn's soul want them to know for this month? What does Capricorn's soul want them to know for January? Thank you. And finally, what does God want Capricorn to remember this month? All right, thank you. Let's get some clarity. Tell us, please, more about Capricorn's theme for January 2023. Tell us more, please, about Capricorn's theme for January 2023. Nice, clear message. That's too many cards. Let's see. Tell us more, please, about Capricorn's theme for 2023. There it is. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about what Capricorn needs to know. Yep, that one right there. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about Capricorn's opportunities for expansion this month. Tell us more, please, about Capricorn's opportunities for expansion this month. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about what Capricorn's soul wants them to know. Tell us more, please, about what Capricorn's soul would like them to know for this month. Yep. Thank you. And finally, tell us more, please, about what God wants Capricorn to remember this month. Yep. Thank you. All right, let's take a look at your theme, Capricorn. So you do have your Sirius star blessings. Yes, proceed, be seen, and push through. I really feel like the push through is a big one. That's the energy that's standing out to me the most. I do feel like for some of you, this month, maybe you get like a birthday surprise or something, right? And it's like a yes, like a gift from the universe, right? That yes, that thing that you've been waiting for. Perhaps there's an opportunity that presents itself this month where you're able to say yes and you do proceed, you do move forward with something. For some of you, this could be a business opportunity, perhaps. But I really feel like the push through part is, it's like, keep going. It's like, don't stop now. Don't give up now, right? That's what I'm getting with this card. So you may feel like it's, I don't know, I just got like go time. Like maybe you just feel like this is when you need to be putting in a lot of work. But it's interesting because it doesn't feel like, how do I word this? It doesn't feel like work in the physical sense. Like it doesn't feel like, oh, I need to go to work, right? I feel like the work is like pushing through, right? Carrying on with something that you may have already started. I don't know what that's about. Let me see here. Super interesting energy, Capricorn. Because you have the Hermit here in reverse, which is about isolation, right? It's about essentially like rejection, loneliness. It's about withdrawal, right? Like some, it's interesting, right? Because these are two totally contradicting energies, right? We have the yes, proceed, like it's time to keep going. And then the Hermit here is like, wait, stop. Wait a minute, I don't want to go out there. I don't want to do that, right? So maybe the theme for you this month, Capricorn, is working through that energy, right? Finding balance in that, knowing when to stop and when to pull back, right? Like when to keep pressing forward, when to keep going, and when to kind of hunker down and stay home, essentially, right? Like when to withdraw and when to proceed. That's how I'm seeing this. I feel like yeah, thank you. I feel like your theme for this month, Capricorn, is finding balance in that, right? Becoming or finding the ability to be aware of what time it is. Right? Like, is it go time or is it sit back time? Is it hang back time? Right? So I feel like finding a balance in that is going to be your theme for this month. So what is your soul, or excuse me, what do you need to know to start the year off in alignment? You have your Anunnaki night codes, energetic shift, new information, and end of a cycle. And what I find fascinating about this is that with this end of a cycle, like I really feel if you're able to navigate this energy and find that balance between the carry on and the pull back, I do feel like that could be that end of a cycle for you. That could be that shift that needs to take place in order to bring you into alignment, like that balance, right? I feel is what could be helpful, right? To end this cycle, to put you into that alignment, to start the year off that way, right? It really feels to me, it's interesting, okay? Because in this card, I'm not even sure what this being is supposed to be. I'm sure it's in the cards and I've probably read it before, but right now it's escaping me. But it kind of is reminding me of like a ram, right? There's one, it almost looks like there's like horns up here, right? And so it's interesting because it's like there's an element here of wanting to push forward, and that may have been like your way or how you went about things, which is interesting, right? Because what is the Capricorn's a sea goat, right? So I mean, it does have like these antlers or horns or whatever they are. And so it's really interesting that this shows up because I feel like it's like your way, like you've just been like running headfirst into everything that you need to, right? Or any time that you need to work, like I just feel like it's like running headfirst into all the things, with that determination, like I'm gonna get through it, I'm gonna get through it, I'm gonna get through it. And now I feel like January is bringing to you this opportunity to bring in balance, where instead of like running through things and just carrying on and keep going, there's more of this shift where you end that cycle and instead seek balance between the two. Interesting, because I feel like it does allow you to help or put you in a position, Capricorn, for you to be able to better care for yourself, right? Which means you have to be present and listening to your body and paying attention to your intuition and all the things like when is it go time, when is it pull back? Because I don't feel like this applies solely to say business or things like that. I feel like it also applies to your health, it applies to relationships, it applies to many things. Okay, I feel like this is multifaceted. So, yeah. So funny. It's so funny. You have the High Priestess here in the reverse, which is another major arcana card. So I do feel like what you are experiencing this month, Capricorn, is likely to be some pretty big shifts within your reality. Again, because they are those major arcana cards. But with this High Priestess in the reverse, it is essentially saying there's this loss of self, this this like repression of sorts, right? And here's the thing. Let me just kind of backtrack a little bit, because the High Priestess in the upright is essentially this um this inner wisdom, this divine truth, this knowing, right? It's this knowingness. And in the reverse, it's essentially saying like you're not listening to your intuition, right? You're not listening to that inner wisdom that's trying to guide you and lead you. And so that maybe that's where the shift comes. Again, we were just speaking on this before I flipped the card over, and nothing comes from nothing, right? So I feel like this information that you're gaining is trying to show you that it's important for you to be listening to that inner voice. It's important for you to be focusing on that and paying attention to it, because sometimes you maybe go like rushing into things and you're not supposed to, right? I feel like that's kind of how you may have or could potentially have felt like you've lost yourself, because you've been just going in and just going in and just going in and going at it versus pulling back, versus finding balance, right? Stepping back when you need to. It's interesting, super interesting. So what opportunities do you have for expansion? And here's the thing, Capricorn, about this position. When I created this spread, right, it's this intention that was set about this being exactly what it's called, an opportunity. That being said, in order to take advantage, you have to be aware of it. You have to be looking for it. You have to have your eyes open for it. And not only that, but once you see it, you have to be willing to move forward with it. Whatever the opportunity is. Maybe it's an opportunity for rest. Maybe it's an opportunity to withdraw, or maybe it's an opportunity to move forward. Whatever it may be, right? You have to be willing to be to acknowledge it and to accept it, right? To take action on it. So what is the opportunity you have here? You have the Order of Melchizedek, embraced by light, mission uncovered, and don't give up. That's interesting. Okay. So here's the thing. It's very fascinating for me, because oftentimes when I'm talking about this in readings, and I'm talking about like don't give up, keep going, more often than not, it's like, hey, keep pushing forward, keep persevering, like keep putting the work in, keep taking action, keep making movement, right? Keep creating movement, keep going. And in your reading, it's coming through in the sense of like, I feel like the challenge isn't so much to keep going, it's to pull back. Right? I feel like that's what the challenge is. And so it's interesting to me, because it's almost like I feel like that creates frustration for you. That creates, something. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a fearful energy, maybe it's like a pessimistic energy or something where it's like, what good is this going to do? Type of thing. But like there's a meaning for everything, and I feel like this message here is like the opportunity for expansion comes in you not giving up when it gets challenging, to be, to kind of pull back, to reserve self a little bit. It's really fascinating to me. What else? You have the oh, it's so funny, right? Because here's the thing, the Hanged Man is like, see things from a different perspective. See where the value can come in, right? Like see things from a different perspective. And the Hangman is this like stalled energy, right? It's like a pause, because you have to see things from a different perspective, from a higher perspective, right? There's things that need to be released. And I feel like part of it is that, I'm just going 100 miles an hour all the time, right? It's so interesting to me, this energy, because it really does feel about you like slowing down, like knowing when to keep going and pushing forward, and when to step back, and seeing things from a higher perspective, like, okay, yes, I understand, like there are things that need to be done, right? Yes, I understand that. But if you just keep going and keep going and keep going, and you don't pull back and take care of you at times, if you don't refuel at times, then you're going to burn out. And what good is that for anybody? And you may have experienced this in the past, Capricorn, where you're just going, going, going. Next thing you know, you're on your ass, you're sick, you're in bed, you're broken or hurting or whatever, right? And it's because God was saying, slow down, rest, hey, take a break, and you didn't listen. You just kept going anyways, right? So there's a lot to be learned here in slowing down, right? There's an art to being okay with that. There's an art to, being okay with sitting still. So what does your soul want you to know this month? You have Arcturian light codes, evolutionary downloads, recalling power and future thinking. Yeah, here's the thing, Cap, like, look to the future, right? Is it beneficial for you? Like, I feel like your soul's saying, is it beneficial for you to just keep going like 100 miles an hour? To keep going when you don't really have things to give, when you know you should be pulling back, or when you know there are certain things that you should be doing instead of maybe working or, whatever it is. Like, I just feel like that's the future thinking. It's like, how is this going to benefit you in the long run, right? Is it actually going to be helpful, or are you just leading yourself to burnout? Yeah, I mean, I just really feel, and here's the thing, like, I feel like some of your power has been taken from you in the sense that you've given it to a task, right? And I'm not saying like this is like the same task like continuously through like your whole life. I just mean like that there are times that you've given away your power to some sort of task that you felt you had to accomplish. Maybe it was for work or schooling or something, right? But it's like there was this giving away of power to something else when maybe it wasn't where you should have been in that moment. So you do have here with this Arcturian Light Codes card, you have the Five of Cups in the reverse. And the Five of Cups in the reverse is an acceptance, right? It is an acceptance, and it is a moving on. And I feel like it's moving on from old ways of being. From old ways, like, here's what I'm getting. Like, if you look at this, right, there's this horse here, and he's got these 5 cups, and they're now, because it's in the reverse, they're dumped upside down. Right? And the horse is what? Something that works very hard. And so I'm seeing this as like dumping energy, moving on from dumping all of your energy into this work. Or dumping all of your value into work. I don't know why I'm getting that. That might be for somebody very specific. Right? But that's how I'm seeing it. It's like, it's time to move on. It's time to accept, like, this is not conducive to the future as a whole. And here's the thing, I'm not trying to deter you, Capricorn, from putting in work. There are times that that's required and important, right? You were given this determination and this drive and discipline and responsibility and persistence for a reason, right? You were. But still, you have to be willing to take care of yourself, right? Otherwise, what is the point? I don't know why I feel like I need to say this, and this may be very triggering, but I feel like for some reason I need to say, what is the point in dumping a lot of work into things for the future if you're not going to be around to experience it? Because you make yourself sick, you work yourself into the ground. For somebody, that is an important question. For somebody, that is a question that needs to be answered. We also have here judgment, right? And interesting AF because, gosh, I'm trying to get to focus, you guys, so you could actually see the freaking card. There it goes. So what's interesting about the Judgment is for one thing, it can be, or, symbolize this reckoning, which sometimes I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying, a reckoning. This is also an energy of being very transparent with yourself and with spirit, right? It is also an energy of awakening. Okay? So, here's the thing. More than anything, I feel like it's that future thinking and moving away from things, right, that maybe aren't serving you. Because the reckoning comes. Okay? The judgment comes. It will come. It will. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not a month from now, but it will come. And I feel like it's important to consider that as you move forward. And I feel like that's what your soul wants you to know. I feel like you have an opportunity here to awaken to a new way of thinking, a new way of being, but you have to be willing to move forward first. You have to be willing to look at this from a different perspective, to leave behind the things, again, that are not serving you. What does God want you to remember this month, Capricorn? You have here memories of Atlantis, spiritual acceleration, progress, and technology. Well, I feel like, first and foremost, and it kind of goes without saying, I feel like God wants you to remember and know that you are on this path, this spiritual path. Maybe that's something that you've struggled to accept, acknowledge, recognize, come to terms with, right? But I am going to read the message here from the book for this card for you. I feel like it gave us a bit more information on what God's trying to say. Okay. It says here, the message is this. You are being transported through a gateway to connect with ancient Atlantis. Know that by drawing this card today, you are receiving blessings from the Atlantean Council of Light, who are dedicated to the evolution of the soul. You are becoming aware of your gifts, and this is an exciting time, but also a time when the energies of your ego can become loud and obnoxious. Know that this gateway is appearing to remind you to stay aligned with the highest good and rooted in the energies of devotion. Then there can be a great coming together of the human and spiritual, and you can live in a more evolved way. Yeah. Right, staying aligned with the highest good. And it's interesting because your soul's coming through talking about evolutionary downloads, right? And future thinking. And then God's showing up to say, I want you to remember, right? To stay aligned to the highest good. Remember that your ego can be loud and annoying right now. And what would your ego say, Capricorn? You're being lazy. You better get to work. What if everything goes wrong while you're gone? Right? Fascinating. What do you have from the tarot to clarify? Okay, so you do have here the Nine of... Okay, so this is really interesting to me because you do... I'm sorry. I just had like a kind of like a pause, if you will, like a download come in, and I'm like... Anyways, you have this Nine of Pentacles here, and that is that energy of like spiritual... It's like spiritual and material abundance. But I feel more connected to that spiritual part of it because you have this you have this spiritual acceleration here as well. So I do feel like God is essentially saying there could be this abundance of spiritual acceleration coming in, of spiritual gifts coming in, awakening to these things, right? Becoming more aware of these things, especially as you release fears of them. right? Nines are about transitionary periods. They're also about fulfillment and attainment, right? So it's like keep going, make that progress, stay in alignment, right? Keep the focus on that spiritual abundance. I feel like this is also, I feel, God's way of saying, like, you can find balance between those two worlds, between the material world and the spiritual world, between caring for or putting effort into or working towards that material abundance, but also towards the spiritual abundance or the spiritual side of things, right? I feel like paying attention and putting the effort in is going to pay off. Right? Staying in alignment with that highest good is going to pay off. Understanding that your ego might talk a little shit and get annoying is probably going to pay off. Right? What else do you have here? The Empress. Which is, I mean, this is fantastic because the Empress talks about birthing things, bringing things into fruition, like being fertile, right? And it's not just about fertility in the sense of birthing a child, right? It's also about like birthing new creations, new experiences. It could be birthing businesses or anything of the like. It's also about harmony and balance. Also about beauty, right? And I just feel like there's this opportunity for you to grow and experience things differently, to expand in a way that maybe you haven't experienced before, and to start to really see the beauty in the world. Because here's the thing, Capricorn, if your nose is always to the grindstone, when do you ever have the opportunity to look up and see how beautiful the world really is? When do you have the opportunity to look around and take in the beauty of the planet, of your surroundings, of what's right in front of you? Right? You also, wow, this is interesting as well, because you have here, in addition, right, you have the Six of Pentacles. And the Six of Pentacles is a generous energy, right? It can be charitable even. But it's also about sharing, and I feel like this is about you being, how do I word this? Capricorn, it's like being generous with what you give your energy to, right? What you put time into. Sharing your time, sharing your space with other people, sharing the beauty of the world, right? It can't be all about bringing things in. It can't be about building that bank. It can't always be about that. Building the future. Like, it can't always be about that. It also has to be about sharing in this experience with other people. It also has to be about being generous and giving, right? And not just, and I don't mean giving money. I mean giving time, sharing time, right? Energy, space, experiences, right? And I find it interesting, AF, that you have the 9, the 3, and the 6, which are all multiples of 3. And again, 3 is about that growth and expansion, right? And here's the other thing too. While 3s are about growth and expansion, they're also about expression. And here's the interesting thing even further. They're also about groups. Right? So other people, what you experience with other people. And I feel like there have been people missing out on experiencing you, Capricorn, because I feel like there's been a lot of focus on work or getting ahead, or something to that degree or that effect. I really hope that something here has been helpful or valuable for you in some way, shape, or form as you navigate your month, Capricorn. If something here has resonated with you, please do the YouTube things. by liking, sharing, commenting, or smashing that subscribe button. It really does help the channel to grow, and it tells YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else. It's been an absolute pleasure to read for you, Capricorn. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly do appreciate your time and your energy. I pray that this month for you is full of courage, right? I pray that you have the courage to see things from a different perspective. And I pray that you have the courage to move in the direction that is for the highest good of not only yourself, but for everyone. And I pray that through that, you're able to experience tremendous growth, tremendous expansion, tremendous abundance, love, and fulfillment. Have an incredible, incredible month. Take care of your beautiful, beautiful soul. Remember that you've absolutely got this and God's got you. I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.